Welcome to another episode of Morelia Python Radio, and in this episode, it's just Owen and I, and we're talking what we've been up to for the last couple of weeks. Owen's over in Europe, and I headed down south to Florida on the search to find all the rattlesnakes of the U.S. Did we do it? We shall see. In this episode, we talk about the upcoming seasons, what's been going on in the world of carpet pythons. Let's get into it.
We do that like not recording. That'd be dumb. Why don't we just do it when we can put it on? Yeah.
All right, welcome to episode 540. And we're back. Eric and Owen are traveling the world.
In separate places.
Separate places.
It's like there were several, I think I told Melissa like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, this isn't like any other, not how the herping trips is supposed to go. I think at one point I said that she's a worse slave driver than Rob, and
oh wow,
for the rest of the trip was like, oh, so is this as good as Rob and Eric's trip? I'm like,
I'm sorry, honey.
I'm like, at least I could. There was a couple times where we're walking down trails. I'm like, when I'm with Rob and Eric, I can see over top of them and I can see the trail ahead of me. You're much taller than them, and it's. Yeah.
Can you squat down a little bit,
honey? I need you to walk behind me or something.
A little more. There you go.
Also, I'm like, we haven't found a single snake. This has been a not very good trip. So, yeah. But.
Yeah, not a single snake, huh?
Not a single one. I did run into some random Australians in the middle of the Highlands who were like, we hate snakes. We hit them with hoses. I'm like...
How can you even be Australian?
No, exactly. They're like, we're from Brisbane. And I'm like, I like Brisbane. And they're like, every time we see a snake, we turn the hose on it. Oh, it's like, I found the one pair of Aussie Brisbanes that don't like, carpet pythons.
How dare they? So yeah, we'll get into our recent travels. I'm just coming back from Florida, and Owen's coming back from his honeymoon to
UK.
Europe, Scotland.
Yep.
Where? Everywhere?
It was London and Scotland. Yep.
Okay, very good. The land of his home people.
Yeah, I went out there. I went out there and came back, and I somehow became more Scottish. So, if pull off the headphones here for a sec, I have a nice little.
Oh, it's official.
Yep,
I like it. Where's your bagpipes?
We didn't get those, but I have the nice little hat now because I put it on, and I'm like, oh shit, it works. Damn it! Damn it, it's stereotypical.
Yeah, you do pull it off quite well. I guess before we get into that, let's get into some housekeeping stuff. Like Texas Carpet Fest was also happening while we were away. They raised $2,500 of U.S. ARC.
Nice.
I got to hang out with the crew at Rep. Is it? It's not Replandia, right? Replandia, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is that the name? Holy shit!
What
that
does
doesn't
it
sound right.
Where is it?
Lagoon, right?
Yeah.
I was jealous of that.
They posted up a video of their croc monitor swimming through its enclosure the other day, and I'm like, shut up, just shut up and hire me.
And it's like a 7 foot. It's like a 7 foot croc monitor.
And God,
it looks like absolutely tiny.
Yeah, it's like this massive cage, and that's a 7 foot croc in there. It's gorgeous. Yeah,
so there was that, and Tinley Park was also the same weekend. I heard the Gecko Symposium went well.
Yes, Justin told
cool.
people a lot about geckos and their abilities to fall apart. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And you can put the pieces back together.
No, you can't.
Apparently
I tried. You cannot. When they pop apart, that's it. It's like...
That's it. It's game over.
Yeah, and then it grows a really crappy looking tail.
Yeah, they never look quite as good as the original.
No, sometimes, and I heard about this, is sometimes they grow a perfectly good like regeneration of their tail, but there's a little like discoloration where it broke off. But then most of the time they don't ever grow the full tail back. It's like sometimes it doesn't, it's stunted, sometimes it's discolored. And geckos are gorgeous and they're mostly tail. So, you know, when you've taken that away, it's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Shame.
Snakes don't fall apart.
Hey, goddamn. Well,
but
if they do, it's dead. But yeah, you know,
yes.
You're right.
Yeah. So Tinley Park was there. CCR, if you're listening to this, their latest episode. So you'll probably hear this next Tuesday, but their latest episode was talking about, at the very beginning, was talking about them guys both being at Tinley Park, and
nice.
Zach was signing books and taking pictures, and you know, everybody loved the podcast and came up to him and talked to him. I think Zach was saying about how he saw a little more variety. Obviously, it's always going to be a ball python centric show.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
There was a little more variety as far as colubrids go, which that's cool. It's always cool to see variety.
You may not know it, but I do enjoy a good smattering of variety when it comes to a reptile collection. You know.
No.
I
would never have figured.
Weird. Yeah. I
thought you were just like I only focus on X.
Well, I was making up so I have a hamburger Saturday. And
okay.
Jason's not doing it, so I'm taking his table. And the funny thing is, so I mean, before we get into all that, you know, Hamburg is moving. So
I know you were sort of telling me about this, so I'm curious. Yeah. What's the deal there?
So apparently the field house, the mighty field house that all Hamburg shows have been in since the dawn of time,
since I was born in
never
74.
needed any kind of improvement. That field house was constructed and perfect. No need, no notes. Yeah, perfect. It got leased, so a car dealership is moving into it, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. So because I tried to figure it out myself, and I'm like, I don't understand, but all right.
Okay.
So a car dealership is moving in there. So all 2024 events, because the Hamburg wasn't the only thing that used this place, are now gone. So they're moving Hamburg.
Oh wow!
To actually, literally, a block away from my father's office in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. So it's like,
really?
Yes. So
everything's calling you back.
Everything just somehow keeps dragging me back.
Back to Morgantown.
So there's used to be a mall in Morgantown. Mm-hmm. That they converted into an auto classic like showroom. So it's full of classic cars. You can walk around. And because they took out all these walls and kind of made all the stores into one big thing, they have a shit ton of space for events and things like that. Okay. So the same guys who run the Oaks Reptile Show tried a couple times to get a show running up in Morgantown, but they didn't have the pull to rent out the big room. So they were in kind of like a smaller room, and it kind of didn't really work out. There have been a couple other kind of shows at this place, but Hamburg's going to be like one of the big things that moves into this place. It's a massive kind of place, so it does also give some room to grow. So this may be the kick in the ass we've all kind of been looking at for bigger tables, more room, kind of a stuff, kind of expanding on the show. And also now this place is a massive parking lot. Like I said, it was a mall. So no more of that parking off-site bull
No more
crap.
taking the bus.
Right.
Parking in the cemetery and shit.
There is a hotel attached to the venue. There's a Holiday Inn. So...
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. There's stuff like that. So it's almost like if this goes well, could this potentially be some kind of larger show for Pennsylvania area? Almost like if we were having like a Tinley Park, but every other month. So I don't know.
Yeah. think that's cool. The move.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that was one of the complaints all the time about the.
This new place is air
shit.
conditioned, so you won't die of heat stroke or smell people in August. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know.
August was brutal in there. Not only for people, but for the freaking reptiles as well.
Right. So, and this is so I'm getting ready for the show, and I did a price list of. I didn't even get through most of the things I will have available, but 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 various options of serpent. And we're talking different species, different colors, different morphs. I don't know if I have table space.
It's almost like you want to do this full time or something.
I don't. Please stop me. Why won't anyone stop me?
Do you think so? Here's a serious question, right? You're breeding all this stuff. How you're fucking staying afloat or alive is beyond me. But
I've started.
Somehow you've managed to do it.
Started using a lot of cocaine.
Fair enough.
A lot of cocaine. Yeah.
All right. Well, whatever works.
Do each that's not the correct answer here, but well, you do you. No, Eric.
I would wonder if the option on the trip as we hike with Rob, if cocaine was not available, if I would not indulge in some cocaine to get me up the mountain.
Listen, we can keep going. Just a little bump, and Daddy's ready. And then you just run up the mountain. Yeah, it's not good.
What happened to Eric?
Don't worry, he'll come down in a minute. Just drag you down the mountain after you've passed out. Yeah.
For the record, neither Owen or I
are doing any kind of cocaine that we know of. Yeah.
Yes.
Although the only reason
the look on Owen's face when he came home after a week and a half almost.
Yeah.
To come home to clean after all that travel.
God. It was so that whole thing was a mess. So we got up at 4 a.m. in Scotland we had to drop off the rental car, and we had to get to the train station where we could take the bus to get to Edinburgh Airport, where Edinburgh Airport is the worst goddamn airport I've ever been in.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was funnel after chaos to load us onto a bus to take us around to the other side of the airport to get us on the plane. I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't the plane just come to the gate? No, we don't do that here. This is stupid. You're all stupid. Give me this country. So,
which country was this? Scotland?
This was Scotland, and then it was we flew to Heathrow, which is London. Which the fear that Nipper has put in my body as I'm wandering around Heathrow, I'm constantly looking over my shoulder to expect him to materialize out of a shadow. So try to lay low,
just
try to blend in. Yeah, just hello. Like, no. So it's
hello, mate.
It was
apparently it's mate. The 8 goes up.
It was all that good. But then we got on a plane at 1 o'clock London time, which we here in Pennsylvania are 5 hours behind. You know that. You do stuff with Nipper. So
yep.
We flew. Okay. It was a 7-hour flight from London. So then we kind of landed here-ish around like 4 or 5 o'clock in Philly. And then it was taking the train to my mom's, getting in the car, driving back home. And, of course, it's not like, you can't ever go to your mother's and be like, cool, bye, Ma. I'm just going to go now. Here I go. 2 hours at my mother's. Like, it was so finally get home. And Jim was in charge of the animals, and Buddy was in charge of the serpents.
That's your first mistake. Okay, all right.
So
I thought you meant all the animals.
No, not all. No. Jim can't do all the animals. Okay. I'm not an idiot, but
okay.
So it was one of those come home, do an immediate sweep to make sure that like nothing is dead, and then pass the fuck out. But I took That was Sunday. That was all day Sunday. I took off Monday, and Monday was literally get up, get coffee, go downstairs, and systematically work my way around. I like put eyes on every animal, check every cage, check everything, count the rough scales at least 4 times. Like, yeah, it was, yeah, but it was daunting because even though Buddy came by a couple times and he did clean where he needed to, but I gave them fresh water, and you want to make sure that you know it's different. This isn't like a check. This is what are you doing? So yeah,
gotcha. Okay, yeah. I think. Well, I was curious to get your thoughts on this because this was something that I've been working on. And then we'll get into our trips.
Your trip.
But okay.
Oh, we got we can do this first and we'll do the other stuff. Yeah. All right. All right. What do you want my opinion on?
I've been working on my diamond python.
Yes.
I've been working on my diamond python enclosure, right?
Okay.
So plans are coming together, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know whether or not I should do this prior to breeding season or after breeding season. So I'll give you the idea what I'm doing. So this is it's going to be like a 9x9x4 enclosure, maybe it could be 10. It could be, it depends on like, frame wise, but basically it's going to take up that whole section there.
Love it.
It's going to have the deep heat emitters for the basking, the jungle dawn lights for the plants, live plants, native plants, UV basking, huge perches.
Native to Australia, native to Pennsylvania. Okay.
Australia. Yes. I got like Australian pothos. I got some of the.
Jesus.
What I do need to find is, and I was talking to Nipper about this, is like tall grass that you can sort of like leave in the pot type of thing.
Savanna grass.
Just grow in like kind of like that, right?
You can get that kind
stuff.
Of thing. They have
right.
Lowe's and Home Depot have that kind of shit, and I do. You leave it in the pot, and then swap it out, chuck it. If they wreck it or if it dies. I did that in the rhino cage for a little bit. There's only one live plant in the rhino cage. They've killed all the other ones. So
they've killed them all.
I did. So it's,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I made sure that I could grow these plants in all types of conditions.
Smart.
Before I ventured into this.
You didn't just.
I have some umbrella plants.
Chuck them in a cage like I did. Like what the hell? Yeah. All right.
No.
Makes sense.
No. Absolutely not. So it's going to be an amazing cage. I know people are going to poo-poo this, but I'm probably going to keep them all together.
Oh, that part. Okay,
about.
All right. Well, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Somebody be like, whoa.
I'm going to keep.
You could keep those diamonds in a drawer, my friend. Like,
oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like
you're like, wait, somebody's still going to be pissed at this?
Somebody's still going to be mad? Like, I don't know. What's
the internet, man? Somebody's always mad,
Dude, I learned that because Hamburg made their announcement that they're moving, and people like, you just added 30 minutes to my drive. I'm not coming. It's like, wait.
Oh, shut up, you little bitch.
Thank you. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's...
How dare you?
Anyone.
30 minutes. How cute.
The guy, see, now I'll never come. It's like, oh, all right, fine.
Yeah, okay. Keep your mites at home. I bet you they're the ones with the mites.
Well, yeah, it's like if you...
Shut up.
If they move it down the street, like, it's... I don't know.
To a bigger place.
Like, I don't understand.
That has air conditioning.
It's better.
Some people are just mad at the world, man. People life isn't
like
good unless
change.
they're complaining.
Yeah, people do not like change.
Not
you
even
change
a little bit.
Anything, people lose their minds.
This is why my question is, do diamond pythons feel the same way? So if I change up everything, will they be pissed and not
Will they be
me?
absolutely pissed because now they have to move 3 more feet to get to the heat?
Yeah, I liked it better when I was in a drawer. Those
I can
damn
see far
reptile
too much
warriors
light.
that are fighting for biggers enclosures. This is bullshit. I wake up in the morning and the sun's just staring me in the face.
I didn't ask for this. So I think your best shot to get eggs in 2024 is to keep doing what you're doing in the same enclosures and everything like that.
I did think that was the way. Yes.
I think what you should do is the second breeding season is over, get them into the new cages, because then they have all summer to fuck around. You know what? Even if she's gravid, like if she's as wide as a house, put her in the new cage. They're coming. She's not going to stop it. Like, that's
right.
Right. Yeah. And then
I thought I want to do like the other thing I have is like you know how Mike Stefani has those Nest box for the monitors.
Yes.
Same type of thing with the lid and all that. So that's going to be it's part of the work too. I mean, I figured like, well, the thing with the plants is like, because I actually enjoy keeping plants as well. Right. That I figured, why not just combine the two? I know that having a python, it's probably going to be like, oh, this plant don't work. Yeah, I wanted Australian native plants, but I don't think this is,
Some will, so I think like some won't.
Ferns,
yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I think the problem is that you had that moment where you were like, I'm going to plant my Burmese python cage, and that exploded in your face. But berms are like bulldozers. Like it was like,
yes. It didn't go so well. So I don't know. I think like, so I have a lot of remodeling that I'm doing. So the first step is I'm taking all of the cages and racks that are in the main room. Mm-hmm. I'm going to move it out into this small room, which will be good because it'll get cold down there. And when I go to cool them down, so that'll be good. I'm going to repaint my reptile room and, make sure everything's in line and hook up electric and all that kind of stuff, and then move everything back in.
Nice.
And then I'm going to work on in here, redo this all, and then move to out there and redo that also. But that's the plan over the next year. Nice.
Yeah,
I suppose.
But it takes a while, and it's one of those things that you don't remember it ever taking this long to do this kind of shit. Like we rearranged my snake room. It took all day, and now I have a 32 quart rack that doesn't fit in the room and two 41s. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just get rid of them. Like it's just, I don't like, it limits me. But then the little creature that's in the back of my brain is like, well, but what if we expand? I'm like, no. So yeah. All that fun shit.
You never know.
No, we know. We need to know. We need to find the stopping point. What
are you going to do with diamond pythons?
We need to find the stopping point. So the diamonds, I always said I wanted to put in the living room enclosure, kind of like what you're building, but where Zero's. When Zero finally decides to, depart this world, which he came very close today when he ate a bunch of chocolate that my wife had and survived.
Dear,
anyway, he survived and my wife didn't kill him. Yeah, it was. I want to move the rhinos to where his crate is, and then I want to set up something for diamonds there. And I want to do what you do, just year round, kind of set them up. The issue is that I have all these other projects where stuff is growing up. So, like, I have, like, is it 1, 2? I have 4 Macklot's pythons that are getting big. I have,
Jesus.
Shut up.
2.2?
No, I have an adult male, and then I have another juvie
1.3. Oh,
yeah. The juvies are 1.3. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yep. And then I have.
You're going to breed those motherfuckers.
God damn it. It's
one way or
it's
the
called
other.
Scorched Earth. It will happen. So help me God.
Yes.
And then
it'll be a fire sale on.
And then I'll just ditch them. It's like, and problem is I'll do it now that they're becoming like cheap as shit. Like they were like $500-$600. Now they're like $300. It's like great. And then
really?
I have 3 white lips that are growing up, golds that I kept for myself.
Okay.
I have 2 black phases that are growing up. My Timor pythons are getting bigger. Yeah, it's a lot.
You need to find a new home for the retic. Zero.
I do need a new home for the retic. The Argentine boas that I have are eventually going to need a bigger spot. So, yeah.
Yeah, they get pretty big, right?
Yeah.
They're like a bigger boa, right?
Yeah, somebody should have thought about that before he did things. But...
Too late now.
Yeah, I know. There's going to be cages up here.
They're cool boas, though.
They are. Yeah. Well, I mean, I already have the new cages for the roughies with an expansion of maybe putting one more up there because I keep not being able to decide just how many of the babies I'm keeping. A pair, a trio, all of them go to hell. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Somewhere between
one and
12.
all.
Yes.
So
okay.
Yep.
So I guess before we get into the herp trip, did you see anything reptile related on your trip?
No, I mean we went to a museum when we were there. It's the picture I sent you of the like stuffed African rock python
or whatever.
Like, yeah, it was like hunting something. I'm like, hey, I found it. That I mean, we didn't see anything else reptile. We saw a bunch of Nessie stuff, and that doesn't count. It's a dinosaur. But yeah.
So are you pro Nessie now, or still?
I am anti Nessie. It's a giant lake. I will tell you right now, it is a huge ass lake. But if there was something in there that wasn't supposed to be there, you'd find it by now. But I was standing at this one point at one of our hotels that was right on the border when you got into the Highlands. There's nothing around. I mean, we're middle of nowhere, tons of trees, tons of cold rain, rivers, some bridges, stuff like that. But there's nothing for miles. Like there's one road that weaves you through the Highlands and stuff like that, or one major road,
right?
And there's nothing ever around. And then eventually you start getting these little pockets of habitation around cities and stuff like that, like Edinburgh and Inverness and stuff like that up there. But it's like, other than that, there's fucking nothing. And I'm like, if you told me that there could be some sort of creature like Bigfoot in the Scottish Highlands, I might believe you. But New Jersey, fuck off. It's there's a lot of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Bigfoot could be there. Nipper told me that there was a place where he said that the mountain that might be the same place. I said, I don't know. Owen sent me this picture and it was like he's in a valley or something, and he was telling me about how impressive these mountains were or whatever.
They're gorgeous.
I guess it was the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah. It's there are these tons of mountains, and it's. When we were driving through like Texas and Arizona, and you're like clearly water like carved this thing, and and all this other stuff. But imagine that with like luscious amounts of like grass and green all over it. So you're looking at it, and you're coming through, and you're like a glacier at one point just ripped through here, making all these peaks, these valleys and stuff like that, and a bunch of grass grew all over it, and it's like it was beautiful. Greenest freaking grass I've ever seen. It was cold and rainy, and they kept trying to give me beans for breakfast. It was just like, you had to have a proper English, and then when you got far enough, you had to get a proper English breakfast, and then when you got far enough north, it became a proper Scottish breakfast. Nothing changed, just the addition of haggis, and that was it. So, yeah.
That's the intestines, right?
That is oat and barley in a sheep's stomach. It's not good.
I think I'll pass on that one.
It's like somebody took decased sausage and smeared it all over your oatmeal and said, "Here you go." And it's like, I don't want this. And yeah,
these worlds should never meet.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, that, and then there was it black pudding? Which is like,
is that like blood pudding?
Yeah, it's like liverwurst that we would get, but blood in it. So it's a black kind of thing. And then there's like a fried
very
egg.
iodine type of taste.
Yeah, there's a fried egg or scrambled eggs. Then you have sausage that tasted kind of and then you had bacon, which was either thin strips of bacon, like normal bacon, or almost looked like the side of a ham. And then beans.
That's another thing that Nipper was yelling at, our bacon is shit. I was like, how dare you, sir?
Like, of course, now
if America does anything right,
it's bacon
is
now,
what we do.
Bacon sandwiches make more sense to me now over there because their bacon comes in these slabs, and it's like, that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm like, a bacon sandwich, you mean like a BLT? No, that doesn't make any sense. Like that. All right, whatever.
Lettuce, tomato, what?
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
And then they have it was a potato. Like it was almost like somebody had taken a potato and made it into almost like a flatbread, and that was
okay.
It was like and that came with breakfast too. So, of course,
interesting.
Of course, you have to eat as much as you can because my wife has planned that we're going to visit 4 castles and hike through the woods. So it's like, I need energy, otherwise I will die. Yeah, so.
Just like a herp trip.
Right, yeah.
We must fuel up early in the morning.
God damn it. It's another goddamn castle. Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I went to Florida.
You did?
And, yeah. So it was myself, obviously Rob, Nipper, and Phil Wolf.
Yeah.
From Snakes and Stogies and Venom Exchange Radio with Nipper. And then we met up with KJ.
I'm a little bit more jealous that you guys got to do this with all those guys. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good time. KJ was I call him the Dustin of the East Coast.
Yeah, he is. That was pretty
my
much.
Yeah. He was reminded me so much of Dustin with his just his knowledge of the area and like he does a lot of herping. You can tell.
Oh yeah, and he's like, oh man, we play a game where if you see a snake in the distance, you snipe it as this is what it is, and if you drive up, you get points. I'm like, motherfucker, you can see that far? Like I can't. Like I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. That all that's not even in focus. And you're like snake. I'm like, yeah. So,
yeah. So yeah, he it was a great trip overall. It's sort of like, I feel like, how do I say this without sounding, I guess, weird or whatever, but it feels like when I go on a herp trip, it's a reset for me. It resets my mind and my just everything. It's just like boop,
like,
reset
this
button.
is why I do this.
I think it's not even so much even about finding the reptiles as much as it is it's just being in nature. It just takes so much stress away. It just fucking goes away.
There are some people who go on camping trips and hiking trips and just kind of get lost in the woods for a little bit. And I kind of feel like that's their reset. And ours just happens to have reptiles in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, the issues of life, and it just makes me think this is kind of why I got into this. It's like the core of the hobby for me, if you will. Like you're seeing snakes do what snakes do.
I'm looking
unencumbered
at
by bullshit or people's feelings on the internet.
Yeah, that's what it is. You get the
reptile know what I mean?
Without the hobby. You kind of just you're unplugged.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I equate it to like watching Planet Earth live, right? It's like the live version of Planet Earth. Like you're going and you're just watching. If you're paying attention, you're watching all of nature. And I think herping with Justin a lot sort of focused me on other things other than just reptile centric. Nipper's the same way. I've always been into the environment or whatever. But like, even if you're not finding snakes, you can take it as a learning lesson, because if it's something that you keep and you're in that area, you can sort of like, oh yeah, it's this temperature or whatever. And even that's just a snapshot. I get it. I understand it, but at least you have a better understanding of what it feels like. Like, Florida was so humid, man.
Yeah.
It was so humid. At any given point, it was 90% humidity.
Like,
it was just like, even more so than up here, it's 70, and a really hot day, it's maybe high 90s or whatever, but for not like this. This was God.
I think that's the big disconnect, is because we're in October. And you went back in time to like August, like by going down there. It's like, you're like, oh God, no, I thought this was over. Like, it's,
Yep. Yeah, it was sort of like, it felt like what it was at Carpet Fest. And then when I came back, it was like 40 degrees here. It was like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because there was like some kind of, I think the storm that we had a couple days where we had some shitty weather, but that didn't stop us. We still kind of went and did shit and done things. So my hopes to see was an eastern diamondback, a Florida pine snake, a pygmy rattlesnake, obviously an indigo snake,
right?
A cottonmouth, a corn snake, and a yellow rat snake. Like, I have these lists that I'm sort of doing.
That's a good list,
Yeah, so like my list of seeing all the Aussie pythons. That's one herping list to check all of them off and see them. Seeing like the famous carpet python spots, if you will. I sort of look like the intergrade zones, specific looks, famous spots of where it is, like crumbit tops. And I almost think of it like, wouldn't it be cool to do the more complete carpet python tour, to where all of the wild snakes, you just go and find those spots.
There it is.
Check it out.
It should be right here.
Next stop, crumbit tops. Let's go. So, Justin's down in the Flinders right now, I think.
Oh, God, I hate that, man.
Right now. So he's down there. Yep. Lucky him.
Yeah.
And then obviously things like seeing all the snakes at PA. So we had this list that we started when what was it, 2020, I guess it was, 2019 when shit was shut down. But let's go and see all the croats of the U.S. And then I started thinking, and Rob sort of came to this realization too with Phil. But in my book, I wrote down, I was like, well, I already saw, I think it was the copperhead, when we saw the copperhead in Delaware this past summer, and also seeing that coral snake out west. Right. I was like, well, maybe we should just do all the venomous snakes of the U.S. because there's really not that much if you look outside of rattlesnakes. Like, rattlesnakes take up the majority of the venomous stuff.
It's mostly rattlesnake, and they're like, oh yeah, there's like a copperhead and a cottonmouth and a couple that's about it. Yeah,
a couple coral snakes. Yeah, I think there's three. There you go. There's the
done.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's that. And I think Rob's doing the same thing where he's going to do all the venomous. So Rob has seen 16 rattlesnake species. I have seen 13. So I'm 3 behind him.
So that's the thing. It's like, you're like, oh, we're going to do something ambitious, like see all the rattlesnake species. Then when you realize that that's not as hard as you thought it was going to be, you're like, quick, add more shit. Like, it's like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Put the, and then we did see, what else? The rat snakes would be a cool thing, I think. I think they remind me a lot of carpets of the U.S. or whatever, but I think seeing a lot of them, like the fox snake and the, even the ones that are not considered in the same as, what is it? What is it now? Is it still Pantherophis, or is it something?
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
For
like
rat
snakes and stuff, yeah.
Isn't it with an E now?
Yeah.
I can't think of the name.
I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's scientific name, whatever. But the rat snakes that are like the what's the one with the googly eye? The subak. That's not in the same family as the other stuff. But I still would like to see it. The googly eyes, right?
What's the one with the messed up face? Oh, Subak. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. So anyway, the other one would be seeing the all the Boyds of North America, which is basically cool. Like rubber boa, rosy boa, Burmese python. So it's like three of them.
Yeah. Supposed to. I mean, the problem is.
Do you include the berm?
I think you have to, but then the problem is that if you don't move fast enough, you have to. But if you don't move fast enough, it's like, well, now they just added another species because like now African rock pythons have hit that point where it's like, guess we'll have to go see them too. Like, yeah, it's how bad can Florida mess up your list for you? That. Yeah.
Damn it. Damn you, Florida.
Keeps adding things.
So at the beginning of the trip, we were in the Lake Butler area, and then at the end of the trip, we were in Apopka area. So I kind of think it's like central North Florida, if you would. It's like above Orlando, maybe 45 minutes, I guess. It's in the it was so basically a lot of the time we spent, we were cruising these longleaf pine forests. I'm assuming that's probably you cruised with KJ, right?
I cruised with KJ down this access road near where Melissa used to live in Ormond Beach.
Okay.
And we went cruising back and forth on that, and it was one of those like there was nothing, and then we had a flash rain that lasted like 5 whole fucking minutes, and then after that, it was like yellow rat snake, pygmy, alligator, gopher tortoises everywhere. So it was like sometimes that little bit of rain does it.
Yeah, I think we had a similar experience. So. The longleaf pine area, the pine forests remind me a lot of the pine barrens up here.
Less ticks or more ticks? Same amount of ticks.
Less ticks.
Okay.
There's definitely chiggers there, but not the ticks. I didn't have any ticks, but I think Rob might have had a tigger. Tigger. It's a tigger.
That's a tick and a chigger. Yeah. Oh God, they've joined forces. Yeah.
Oh God, that would be horrible, so bad. I think Rob might have got a tick. He must have sweet blood or something. I remember him saying
good
like a couple
Colorado
days.
blood. Yeah.
It's all that IPA he drinks, man. They just can't have enough. So I mean, as you know, Rob puts together he puts together so much time and into putting us in the right areas at the right time and all that stuff. And it really does. With all the research he does, it really comes down to just putting in the work and luck, right?
Yes.
So you may have to hike for miles, but at least it's kind of like embrace the suck, you know what I mean? Embrace the suck, and you just have to go through it. I almost, though, there was a couple times that I almost was like, I can't embrace the suck anymore. The one was we were walking a levee, and it was at nighttime. And when I tell you that there were freaking bugs, man, they were so many bugs. Like,
you're herping in
nowhere
the swamp.
near Australia. Nowhere near, not even close, dude. It looked like all over my chest, all over my stomach, all over my back. I have mosquito bites. Like, I look like a pincushion. It's crazy. Oh my God, I'm itching on the plane. I look like a crack fiend. Like, oh my God, just give me one more taste. But I mean,
Jesus.
It's really kind of crazy when you think about herping. It's like, you could be in the right habitat and everything but the idea that snake is crossing the path at the same time that you are. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just blows my mind of like even seeing anything at all.
Well, and we have that all the time where it's like, I mean, if you really sat there and thought about it, like if we hadn't spent all that time at that one place looking for your phone, would we have seen half the animals we saw on the way back? Like it's that kind of shit.
Sure. it's like the butterfly effect.
It
almost,
is.
You know what I mean? It's very it's very cool when you think about it, but at the same time, it's like I said, you know, I don't know, like it started as one of those. So it started off with a bang, right? Nipper came across a pygmy rattlesnake flipping. Nice. It was in this big swamp spot that we were walking this trail. You know, mosquitoes were a little rough there, but you know, not as long as you were moving, it wasn't too bad. But pygmies, god damn, they're small.
Oh, they're tiny, dude.
They're really small.
They're so goddamn tiny. You know? And I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm more nervous around the tiny ones. Like, if it's a big Aatrox, I'm like, there you are. I see you. I know what you're going to do. Right. When it's like a little thing, I'm like, no. Yeah.
I kept having to put my glasses on because I couldn't see it, and I'm like,
"Where is the venomous
tell where the
snake?
head was?" And I'm like taking the picture of it, and you know, Phil's yelling at me like to back up a little bit too close, and I'm thinking like that tiny little snake can reach this far, like holy shit, you know?
Yeah,
man, they're like apparently they can. Strike pretty fast.
They pop up like their whole they're one of those ones like their whole body goes with it when they throw them at you. So.
Yeah. So it was cool to see that right off the gate.
Yeah.
Another cool thing. This is just I'm going over some of the various highlights. Nipper and Phil, they found all of the toad species of Florida. So they did the whole run. Every single one. They found it. Me and Rob missed the one because we kind of split up at this one point. So it was me and Rob and Phil and Nipper.
Okay.
We're kind of on our own trajectories of going through this forest. We were looking for Simus, right? We're looking for Western hogs. We're looking for Southern hogs. I guess they were somehow they ended up at the edge of this lady's house or whatever. And
oh God!
She looked like Honey Boo Boo. They were like, oh God, I don't know, it's Honey Boo Boo lady or whatever, and started yelling at them. And she like drove down the road and then reversed and came back and told them to get off the prop. But they saw that toad there. They saw the one toad that we didn't see there. So Jesus. You know, that was pretty cool for them. Nipper was really into getting that one, and we had one left, and it was the last night, and KJ had a guess that it would be at this spot, and we drove out to this spot, and sure enough, there it was. They found it, so that's pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't Owen Pelly moments, it's level of excitement,
cool,
but you know, but it's still cool, you know.
Yeah.
What else?
Did they give out like stickers if you find all the toads in Florida? Like, does some park ranger come out of nowhere and be like, "Congratulations"?
Yeah.
Then disappear.
We were so well. It's funny you bring up the park ranger.
Oh no!
Since you weren't there, we had to do it in spirit, and I had them cracking up. Of course, I didn't do it as well as you.
Oh yeah,
but we were doing.
Yep.
What does Wally the Wombat say?
I mean, I think I busted that out on when we were in all because. Dude, Melissa is a freaking trooper, not only just for marrying me and putting up with me for all my everythings, but she drove in Scotland because it was cheaper for us to rent a manual car, and I can't drive stick, and she drove on the wrong side of the road. So not only did she do manual, she did it on the other side of the road. So, and I think at one point we were driving.
Oh my God, we were talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah,
she did manual. On the other side of the road,
wrong side of the road. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Holy shit!
And she only stalled because she only stalled backing into a parking spot, and because we're trying to leave Loch Ness, and people kept walking behind the car. Like, other than that, great. But we were driving, and it was like rainy and dark, and I started telling her that whole story. She looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I'm like, it was funny, and it's on a reptile thing. You wouldn't understand. So yeah.
Well, I imitated the little kid part of it, and like, you know, Phil and Nipper lost their shit.
Yeah.
that was quite fun. So you're there in spirit.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we went to breakfast. Probably one of the coolest snakes that I saw, as common as it probably is for most people. Rough green snakes, man.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, are they cool snakes?
Yeah.
Green, yellow belly. So we went to breakfast. After breakfast, this was the day after it was raining. Rain the night before. So we were wondering whether or not we were going to see movement or not. We found a pygmy. Then we found the rough green snake. Then we're driving down the road. And Rob says, turn around. So we turn around. And there's a snake on the road when we turn around. So I'm sitting there going like, how many snakes have we missed? Because they come out behind us after we pass them.
After we pass them, they're like, now the coast is clear.
Yes. I'm like, damn it.
Those morons are gone.
I kept telling Phil he had like a sunroof, right?
Yeah.
I was like, you have to open this shit, and we have
position
to stand
somebody
up with
that
our,
way.
like,
Yeah.
you know, like, yes, yeah.
Well, how many times? What did we talk about in Australia that I'm like, I should just get a dash cam for the next time we drive this way. Like the next time we're in Australia, this way we can just set it up and it'll just record, and then we can be like, there across the road, that was it, and then we can have video of us chasing the thing down. Yeah.
Yes. So he turns around, snake in the road, and man, Rob was, I think it was almost Owen Pelly level of happiness for Mr. Stone, man.
For
almost.
For a green snake?
No. The Florida pine snake.
There you go. Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Yeah,
I was glad you guys found that. That was nice.
Yeah, and if we wouldn't have turned around, we wouldn't have found that snake.
Yeah.
Turn around, there it was, go out of the car. He's like, you know, he's like jumping up and down, man. He just jumped out of the car, and I think he said something like, something along the lines of, Phil, is that what I think it is? Phil, you see that, right? He just like ran up to the thing. Yeah. And then Phil jumps out.
I love when you get so excited you lose track of what you're saying or doing, and you're like, you look back and you're like, I sounded like an idiot there. Like it was Oh,
I thought it was great. I thought it was so genuine, and so it was great. So me and Nipper, they had child locks on the back or something. And every time we drove for a certain amount of time, it fucking locked. And me and Nipper trying to get out. Nipper's cursing the car. I'm like, can't get out of the seatbelt or whatever fast enough. But yeah, we get out there, and man, it was really, really, really cool.
That's awesome.
It had like chrome down the, not chrome.
Yeah,
it had like maroon down the back of the tail, and it was like white. Oh man, black outline, and it just popped. It was just it was like white, but it was like it had like these ultra thin lines outlining the scales like all over everything. And then of course it did the classic pine snake huffing and puffing and that kind of stuff.
Being a jerk.
Yeah. I see what they say. I kind of see the difference now between a pine snake, a gopher snake. I haven't seen a bull snake yet, so I don't know how that.
But you can kind of figure out the subtle kind of things. That
the subtle differences.
Yeah.
I could never get that before. I'm like, I don't know, man. They just look the same to me, But I mean, now I kind of get it.
They kind of do, and they kind of don't. And it's like one of those. I think you could look at them all day, every day. I think, what was it? Somebody put a white-sided gopher, a white-sided bull, like all in, like along with a white-sided black rat snake, and all those different white sides in like one bucket, and it was like, pick them. And like, I can't. This hurts. So, right. I think when you get down to like the base, what the animal was when you found it before mutations and other things like that got into it, I think you can see some of those little subtle things. Don't get me started on localities. I can't do that. I can't. Like, especially northern pine snake localities. Like, it's like, as you can tell, this one has more black here, which means it's from Burlington County. I'm like, stop. Because the same problem happens in my mind that is in with carpet python stuff. It's like, all right, well, you have these two counties of pine snakes, and these counties are connected. Who's to say that like the pine snake isn't going to be like, oh nope, can't go there? Like that's doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so
you're crossing the border.
I can't do
we
that.
We have a wall.
Some other pine snake. Do you have your papers?
Oh,
yeah. What?
Yes, papers, please.
Papers. Your papers are not in order.
But yes, it was cool to see that, and I was glad that we ticked that off. So that was cool. And the other, like I said, the question of us, like, do snakes move after it rains, before it rains? Do they know that the rain is coming? Like, what is that? I haven't herped enough with rain to know what it is, but on this trip, we hiked in the rain. we put it in.
Okay.
And, the most part, we did not see snakes when it was raining, except for on the levee. That night, I think we found a swamp snake, this blue garter snake that I almost tripped over. It was like neon blue. It was like blue. Gators everywhere. All the eye shine you could see. Like I said, the bugs were all over. Cottonmouth, that was cool. I was really happy to see that.
That was a pretty one, and it was a young one too, wasn't it? Didn't it still have its little green tail?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think the only disappointments of the trip was the eastern diamondback we found had, just like the pine snake, where we caught it by a minute. The eastern diamondback, we missed it by a minute. Like, it was hit by a car.
God damn it!
Snake. Or hit by a quad or whatever. It was really kind of. It's the sucky thing about road cruising, man. It's like you're going to see dead snakes, unfortunately. It's kind of how it goes. But
but that's like
kind of a bummer, because that was definitely
that was one you wanted, and I know that when we were in we found that one western hog that had just been hit, and I know that when we were in Arizona, we found an Atrox that had been hit, and we kind of sped it along its way rather than watch it suffer. And it's like, that part just sucks, because it's like, man, I do roadkill of any kind. Like, I know when we were in Arizona, we kept seeing this coyote running back and forth over the highway, and then one time we did a pass and it was dead on the side of the road. And it's like, any kind of roadkill kind of is like, sucks. It's kind of it's just one of those things, I guess. Dude. But it doesn't make it any easier, any
better, especially when it's a species you want to see. So
we passed a roadkill deer in Scotland, and if we had hit him in the small car that we had rented, I'm pretty sure we'd be dead. Like, that thing was huge. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the thing was massive. And I'm like, let's not see that. Let's not run into that, please. So
let's not do that.
Let's not do that. Like, the size of a 100%. Cow. Like, oh, my God. But, yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Was it like a buck?
Yeah. Antlers and all. It was huge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
The other disappointing thing is they're cutting down that forest like crazy. It's like, we talked to Glenn on NPR, me and Rob, before we left. And we talked to him, and that was one of his things that he kept talking about, was just the environment. It's like, you want to do all this conservation for animals and shit, but there's no goddamn environment for it to live in.
For everything to live in,
There's no habitat.
Yeah.
Dude, they were just like, there was these massive trucks, and they would have like just cut down all the trees.
Yeah.
And then they would just fucking put them on this truck, and then they would drive them out, and it's just like this whole patch of forest, as far as you can see, is just gone. It's just wiped out. So I'm thinking, like, they replant them and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, KJ's like, no,
nope.
That's it. It's gone.
Well,
it's
because
like, what the fuck?
Well, you gotta.
We're worried about Burmese pythons and this shit is happening.
So
like,
the problem is that how much of Florida is being developed? Because Melissa and I were driving the one time, and it was like a bunch of these farms, and then I think like the other time I came down, like 2 of them had been sold, and they were getting ready to start putting up cul-de-sacs. The same thing's happening out here in Lancaster. The only difference is that out here they've already chopped down all the trees because those are all farmland, but they're turning the farmland into homes, cul-de-sacs, stuff like that. So the development is insane.
Shit.
And Florida has to be one of those places that people are just trying to get into, just because everybody wants to retire to Florida, doesn't want to have to deal with this, doesn't want to have to deal with that. So they're just going to keep putting up like communities and stuff there.
Plus, from what I understand, I don't know like what the numbers are, but from following like the political news and stuff, a lot of people that lived in like more, let's say, democratically run cities have been moving to more Republican run cities or conservative. I don't know, like Texas and Florida.
If you were a conservative living in a blue state, you may want to move to a red state to make yourself feel more comfortable, and vice versa. So yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. So Florida being, that type of place,
Florida's always been that place where it's like you retire to Florida because then you don't have to worry about shit. You go to Florida and do this. It is. I think
don't retire to where we went.
Well, don't go there. But I think, I think one of the highest. I want to say that one of the most like the biggest employment things in Florida is like hospitality. Like they're tons and tons and tons of that. So
yeah. But I mean, what else did we see? Trying to think if there was anything else that I'm forgetting. I'm sure there is. There always is.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a great trip. We had a goat that our second Airbnb that kind of visited us, me and Phil, a couple of times.
Random ass goat.
We named him Charlie. I think he was as tall as me, man.
I mean,
he was freaking huge.
Goats can be that, but
he at least came up to my chest.
Yeah. Goats can be one of those things where you're like, it's a goat. And then like you're face to face, you're like, that is an animal. Like that is a large animal. Like it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, Phil, I think if I get on your shoulders, maybe we can scare him. Yeah.
Phil, pick me up.
Because me and Phil are about the same height. Yeah. Well, why am I on the bottom? I don't know. But
seniority. I'm the podfather. You had to keep me alive. Yeah.
That's right.
Once again, I wasn't there and y'all were attacked by animals. Like, I'm not there in Texas. You're nearly eaten by a bear. I'm not there in Florida.
We found the bear too.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind. I didn't get there. Oh, no, that happened again.
Yeah.
Same bear? That's weird.
He followed me all the way from Texas to
he's going to get
Florida.
you one of these days.
He gave me that look at me. He's like, I know you. I'm watching you.
Come near my kid again. It's like, what? Yeah.
Podfather. I prefer Podfather with barbecue sauce. That's what's going to happen. No, it was a black bear came running out of the woods. We were actually in the car at the time, but just pulled over to the side. But
Jesus,
he was doing a little huffing and puffing. I couldn't tell if it was because it was so hot or if he was mad. And I'm like, I should probably be able to read these signs a little bit better.
A bit of both, but it's you should be able to. Yeah, you should be able to tell if an animal is tired or enraged. You know, that's probably good.
Yeah. Other than that. Obviously it was great. Good times hanging with Nipper and Phil. Mm-hmm. Always a blast hanging with Rob for sure. He did a great job at, like I said, putting us in the right spots. And then KJ was a huge help as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Cage
taking us to
helped me
various
get
spots.
Stuff there. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, Eastern Diamondback might have to be in Georgia or something because I don't know if I'll be headed back to the sand hills of Florida.
I mean, you're going. I mean, you guys didn't go any spots where there was a potential for a Burmese python, did you?
No. We were too far north.
Yeah, I
for
would
that.
say you're too far north. That would have been fun to do.
Yeah, I think I don't know if that changed. Originally, I thought that's what we were doing, but then I think that the rattlesnakes don't go. Well, I think the idea is that we were trying to hit a canebrake and an Eastern Diamondback.
Okay.
So in order for us to be in that area where it was actually on the pygmy, yeah. So pygmy. Canebrake and Eastern Diamondback. Eastern Diamondback we could have found further south, but we wouldn't have hit the other ones. Rob did see a coral snake, but obviously that's not the snake you go and grab as it scurries underneath the.
I mean, you could, but you're only doing it once. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. It does
put a damper on the rest of the trip when you have to take one of them to the hospital. Yeah. So
we did almost get killed by meth heads. That was experience. I mean, as we're driving down the road and a lady pops her head out of the car and basically says, "Can you help me?" And Phil, knowing the area, I guess, being from Florida, is like, hell no. And I'm saying, me and Nipper in the back, and she's like, what if something was wrong? I said, if we drive to the end of this road and we come out onto a highway, then that means that she was not lost. And because their windows were all tinted, and I don't know, man, it just was shady as shit.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I mean, there's something where it's like you want to say that you can try to help and trust in people, but then there's also or maybe I don't. like maybe I just don't. Yeah. Yeah.
My French press travel.
Did that work out well for
setup?
you?
Oh, yeah. Dude, it was so nice to have NPR blend carpets and coffee. Yes.
But before we left, I was kind of getting a cool down on my coffee intake. I wasn't doing coffee except for like when I was going someplace in the weekend or something like that. I'd get like Wawa or something like that. 10 days in London where it was like you're up and we're moving, and the best way to get me to do things that early would just be like, and we can stop for coffee on the way. All right. So, and I will say this, and Nipper can fight me. The sizes of coffee over in London, I don't think they know what a large is, because I'm like, I will take a large iced coffee, and what I get is a McDonald's children's size cup, and I'm like, this is what the hell? And they're like, oh no, that's the largest we have. Huh? And then I'm like, no, I want a Dunkin' Donuts, like, yes. I want a coffee. And now that's all I got. So
yeah. And it was quite the opposite here. We were ordering food and whatnot, and Nipper was like, is this like a dinner for two, or what is going on here? Welcome to America.
No, I mean, and I sent you the picture of one of the places we went to, because we had this like weird overlap thing where sometimes we'd be sitting down to dinner, and then you'd be getting I'd be getting messages from you guys of like what you're finding and stuff. And I sent you a picture. I'm like, please tell Nipper to explain to me the following like dipping sauces that are on my table for some reason.
Yes.
This is brown sauce.
Did you try?
I tried it. It was, dude, everything's like vinegar, like shit you would put on fish and chips. Like, here's your malt vinegar, here's your brown malt vinegar. I'm like, wait, I don't. And then here's your salad cream. First off, that is a terrible name for that. And second, what do you mean salad cream? Call it dressing. It's not dressing. What the hell is it? It goes on
Salad
the salad.
cream.
Then it's dressing.
That sounds like a porno movie or something.
Thank you. It's dumb. You're dumb.
That's great. Yeah, oh shit! What were you just saying about the sauce? Oh, did you try fish and chips?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had.
Yeah.
So we went to Edinburgh Castle, and after we went to the castle, there was a spot right outside that like they're kilt makers. And they make the kilt and your family tartan and all that fun stuff. I am 99% sure this is where my grandfather got mine made and stuff like that, because they had all this shit. And I'm like, I have that. And it's like, yeah. So we went there, and they had a restaurant there, and we got the fish and chips. And I was expecting like chicken fingers, but like fish. It was a bed of French fries where they slapped a bicycle seat that had been a fried like fish on top of it. And I'm like, all right. And then you just have to cut and dig in. And it was very croque parm kind of a thing bringing back to me, where it's like, this is a lot. And then you're eating it and you're like, this is really good. So like that and tartar sauce, that was great. So yeah, our complete little trip, we did a lot of, I wanted to get like an Indian food, like a curry thing, because there was tons of Indian restaurants, and my friends told us that they were really good, but we never got there. But we had a lot of good food. I've never seen my wife drink that much tea. Every place we went to, she's like, I'll have a pot of tea. So here I am with my tiny ass little coffee. And here she is with a whole fucking pot of tea that they've brewed for her that she gets like 2.5 cups out of. Here I am, coffee's done. And I'm like, I guess we'll go. I still have tea left. All right, I'll just stand here and look pretty, I guess. Like it was.
Sort your shit out, Nipper. What the hell?
Yeah, like, it's some bullshit. Like I just want a little bit more coffee so that I don't have to sit here and watch her make more tea, you know.
Oh, that would be terrible for me, man, because Dory loves tea. So I would be drinking, she would be drinking tea, and I would be just sitting there, and I would be ordering, give me 6 shots of espresso.
Thank you. Like, it's a problem. I started going into weirder shit. I'm like, give me the Americano. What is, don't care. Let's try it.
Yeah.
It was crap.
I'll take 2, please.
Like, it was
There's only one here, sir.
I'm like, what's the biggest cup you guys got? Well, that's for our cappuccino. Let's give it a roll. Let's see what happens. Like, it was.
Can you take the coffee and put it in the teapot?
Well,
and bring it to me.
It was very reminiscent of you being like, I want a black coffee. Like it was like, I would like more coffee than this. Yes. I don't understand. You see the big cup back there? Like, fill it with that.
I remember that in Australia. They're like, well, now I know better. Back then, I was a coffee noob. But I get there, and that's how I was. I'm like, I'll take a black coffee. And they're like, a flat white? No, I don't want anything in it. Just the coffee. And they're looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like, what do you mean?
Those
you
aren't
just
the
want
words
the
that came out of my mouth.
I just want the liquid that's in that.
You see the pot that's in your hand. Put it in that cup and
pour it in the cup.
To me.
Nothing else. Why would you drink it like that? Don't judge.
Shut up.
Just
Don't
give me the cup.
Me? Like, just, but that's where it kind of was just, come on, man. Like, it was, there's a lot. There was definitely, and also, like, she came home with, like, 4 different things of tea, and I'm like, we're not doing this. So at the holiday show, I will have a lovely English tea. I'll brew it right in front of. I'll brew the proper tea right in front of Nipper. I'll do everything wrong.
Nice. You sent the picture with, you had this little cup with your pinky out, and I was looking for me at Tinley when I had the umbrella drink.
I'm like, yes, what is the girliest drink you have?
Yes.
Oh, we have this, and I can girl it up for you. Excellent.
It had like it had like dumbbell.
And we just kept throwing cherries in. I'm like, keep going. Well, he kept doing shit, and I'm like, I'm like, if you got a sparkler, throw that in there. I don't care. Yeah.
Pinky's out.
Pinky's out. Of course, it was I forgot about that. That was great.
I could not find it. I was like, oh my God, I was going to send this. This would be so good. And I couldn't find it. And then I lost service. And
that's the other thing is that we kept going places, and it was like, so we'd go and we'd get up in the morning, we'd go to a place, we'd start moving towards, it was very Rob-esque. You get up in the morning because we're going to here because this is where we will have lunch and this is where we'll do this. And so it was like that. It was getting up and we'd get the coffee because we'd be walking past a coffee shop or something like that. And Melissa would get a tea. And like we'd maybe have like a small, the problem is like, so when you and I are like going to breakfast, go to Wawa, you can get a breakfast sandwich. They can't put all the crap that's in a proper English breakfast in between two rolls. So I guess they can't, I guess they don't know the word breakfast sandwich. So it was like, yeah, I'll have that and that scone or whatever. And so it was that you kind of kept moving, but then we get to the castle and we'd walk around the castle and it'd be kind of like 11 o'clock and it's like, oh, well, we can go down to this cafe and we can sit down for a little bit. And she gets another pot of tea. And I'm like, I guess I'll have another coffee. Like, I think I drank I drank more coffee and walked more in the span of 10 days than I did in the last 4 months. So,
oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I think we did 30 miles all total trip.
Yeah.
It was a lot of road cruising.
That's awesome.
I think, yeah, but there was a couple hikes we did, but
well, I
think 30
mix,
miles.
So,
yeah.
You know, I don't want to sit and road cruise the whole time. I do want to get out and do stuff.
Dude, the one day we road cruised all day. It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was like, we were like all by the end of dude, it was like 9 hours of road cruising.
No, that's too much.
They're just like, no, we got to get out of the car.
You got to break it up.
All crazy and shit.
Yeah.
You can see the look in all of our eyes like, get me the fuck out of here now.
Somebody's going to get stabbed. Yeah, it was... Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was good times. But yeah, I think the next adventure is going to be, is it West Texas maybe?
So, I mean, West Texas would be cool. I did see that they announced the dates for Daytona.
Yeah.
So my plan is to go in and request the time off for Daytona. And then once I got that, figure out what's
left.
Yeah, how to do that and get that going, get the table rolling. And I think we have to get vet stuff for the animals and things. So I have to do all that kind of crap and figure out what can come to Florida. And then, try to set that up. Buddy wanted me to do Tinley Park as well. And I'm like, that's a long haul to do both. And he's like, well, dude, I'm going through your entire collection. And it's like, do you have a lot of shit? I'm like, thank God you told me, buddy. I wasn't aware.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, holy shit. Are you sure?
What do you consider a lot?
Yeah. It's very, it's a personal opinion. Yeah. But he was like, I don't know, man, doing this time, I think I want to get into white lips. So I'm like, first off, you have to prove to me that you're on the same level for a white lip. I'm like, this isn't your mystical green snake that sits on a stick. This is a black heat-seeking missile. Okay, like it is. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, white lips, huh? He's given up he'll never give up green trees. Does he want to vend Tinley?
That's what I don't know, because I know that he's doing stuff. He's got the problem is like you say like I fly below the radar and I have a ton of shit that I don't tell people about. You're correct. Right. But Buddy has other shit that he's getting. I know he's building a red project. He's building an Xanic project. I know he's got blackheads that might be getting up close. He has a bunch of Arus that should be ready to roll. I don't know if he's going to start getting those off the bench. So he's got a pretty good amount of stuff. I don't know if he would have enough to go to vend Tinley or if he'd want to do that. I keep telling him what he should do is baby steps, get your breedings going, get your stuff going, and then do like an Oaks show. Oaks is becoming more and more popular. And then with Hamburg moving to that bigger venue, there could be more room for people to move into that kind of stuff. So I would do that over, I think, driving so long for some of those big shows like Daytona and Tinley, dude, it's a risk for me because, like, you know how much money you have to spend to vend Daytona, Tinley, and then you don't make any sales? That's all. You eat all of that.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's, I would not, I don't see myself vending a show, no matter what I would have. I don't know. I think I'm at the point now where I would just much rather go and enjoy the show, if that makes sense. You know,
it does. Because
not have to worry about that.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the show when I went out to Tinley without my own snakes. The only thing is that I went out there with other people who I think we had to go home earlier than I wanted to. I was kind of hoping to spend a day at the show and then go out and kind of explore Chicago, because I realized I had been out there like 3 times and had never seen anything past the airport and the Tinley Park place.
Yep.
So I like that freedom of being able to just be like, let's go do this or let's go do that, or we don't need to be. We walked around the convention hall this morning. We'll go back later. We don't need to rush.
I think for me, I don't think Tinley's in the books for me, because I think the Northern Territory is in October.
Northern Territory calls you. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't think
OP
I was going to be
number 2.
I didn't think I was going to do that either, or at least Tinley. I think I was going to try to just do Daytona, but we'll see if Daytona does really well. Maybe I start making Daytona a thing. Really, I'm just trying to get some kids out the door.
According to the CCR crew, they were talking about. Clint was talking about Daytona is more of a colubrid show, whereas
Tinley is like python.
Tinley is more of a python boa type of show. So I don't know what you have more of or whatever, but
yes,
but I don't know. You tell me. Do you see more interest from your pythons or from your colubrids? Like, where do you feel? So what do you feel like the market is doing? What do you think that's from? Do you think that's from
I will tell you right now that I went on Morph Market today, and there are so many carpet pythons in Morelia, more than I've ever seen up.
Really?
Ever. Oh, there was tons. And it might have been just that Nick got off his butt and,
posted some shit up.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot from him, but there just seems to be a lot of people trying to sell stuff. And I will say that the prices are a little bit lower than what I expected.
Right.
But out of all the things that I'm selling, or all the things that I've produced over the past year, nobody's kicking down my door for pythons right now. I have people asking me about rhinos, mad hogs. I mentioned that I was going to be bringing Chinese king rats to Hamburg, and I've gotten 3 messages so far about where they can see pictures of my king rats. So it seems like colubrid stuff is just kind of, people almost take it as like it's a back burner. It's easier. It's not because they want to build a project, because they always thought that these things were cool, or they want to set up a terrarium, or they've always wanted this, and I'm the guy who has it. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
So here's an interesting stat for you.
Good.
For the first quarter of 2023, I was tracking the amount of carpet pythons on Morph Market by week, and the average was 364.
364?
And currently there's 269 on Morph Market.
Well, I guess there's less. There you go.
But I wonder what I haven't looked in, like, is it more variety? Is it more morphs? I don't know. I'm kind of flipping through now.
There seems to be a shit ton of the same thing. So, like, Riley has a bunch of ads up there for his Pos head exanic stuff, but he has each individual animal set out there.
I gotcha.
And Nick has a bunch of his stuff, and it's each individual animal. So it's like whole clutches are up there. And it's not grouped together. It's spread out. So
I see Nick, Eric Kohler, Riley. There's a couple other people in here, but I don't really know. I've never heard of them. Dragon Herpetology.
Yeah, there was a bunch from him. I don't know who that is.
There's some diamonds. $1,800.
Yes.
Wow.
$1,800 for baby diamonds. It's partially why I sent you that ad for the what was it? It was the true breaded. It was the
yeah.
No, it was the purebreded diamond pythons, and I'm like, what kind of breeding? And it was like,
yeah.
But the guy has 1.1 for 2,000, and they're a year old. And I'm like, whoa. So two for the price of one, or is it 2,000 each? I don't know. I didn't dig into it, but I don't know.
Wow. Interesting.
Diamonds have never lost their kind of thing. I think they dipped down to about $1,000 each at one point, but now they're slowly climbing back up. There seems to be definitely more of a appeal for diamonds.
A lot of Brettles.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of pop ones too. You don't see. I haven't seen a lot of jungles. Hypos are on there. Wow, they dropped, huh?
Yeah. Hypos have dropped like a rock. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, Riley has a nice tiger head exam.
Yeah, I saw that.
A Poss hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there we finally got to a diamond. A wow hamper. Well, that headhunter.
It's jungle. Yeah.
Midwest scales. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're nice. Okay. True Hypo Tiger, 1,400. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's still up there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that whole morph thing, though, man, I can't be bothered with that bullshit anymore. It's like
I know, that's why there's a hypo here. Like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yes, I get to wait a minute. He just doesn't want to have to deal with it. Hold on. It's really weird. And I was thinking about this today. So, you remember last year I did that breed loan with Mike Curtin?
Yeah.
I sold the male zebra out of that pairing, and it appeared yesterday. Somebody, the guy I sold it to, posted it up and on Instagram and tagged me in it, and I threw it on part of my story. And I've had people like just going nuts asking me about its siblings. Do I have any other zebras like it? You know, all this other stuff. And I'm like, I have its two sisters, which are the only two remaining from the clutch right here. They've been listed for sale forever. And everybody just looks at them and goes, I'm like, they're really good looking jungles. Like, I don't understand it. It's not the best zebra of the group. I understand that, but that guy already got it. It's like,
you snooze, you lose, man. I remember
they want the top tier thing, and they want me to have it like in my back pocket. To be like, you want the best of the best? Well, thank God you said that. I'm glad you said that. I've been holding on to this, waiting for somebody to be like, listen, I want to buy not that, but your best thing ever. Holy shit, here you go. And please, God, take $200 off because I don't know reasons.
Right. I want the price of the ugly one.
Exactly.
But I want the pretty one. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I wonder, do you think that people are going to, it seems like everybody's struggling to sell snakes, right? And I sort of saw this coming to where, you know, and I understand why you would still pair things, right? And it's kind of like, I think what happens, at least my thought, just as an overview of like, you have the market where, you know, people don't have money and there's too many snakes, and, you know, people start to sell them behind doors cheaper, or even out in public cheaper, whatever. And then you'll have certain people that will now back off of breeding.
Yep.
Which then creates a demand because nobody's breeding X, you know what I mean? And then everybody wants X, and then nobody can get X. And it's sort of like it's just a cycle that keeps repeating itself of supply and demand, basically. Right?
It is that I
don't know. That's kind of how I see it.
No, you're 100%. That's what it is. So what happens is that the problem also is that people seem to and no matter how many times we say it, people still seem to think that they're going to get massively rich off of their first clutch of pythons that they produce because they're going to sell them for this much. And they're all immediately going to sell right out of the fucking egg. And that each egg is going to be the top shelf representation of the morph that they're trying to get. And I can tell you for a fact, because I fell into it too, doesn't happen. So
guilty.
Yeah, it's no. And I hate to break it to you, a lot of times that really pretty one is your shit feeder. So people see that, and this is the point where people like that one, the post I sent you today, was some guy was getting out, his entire collection was for sale. It becomes the point where it may be too expensive for certain people to maintain a collection, so they have to cut it down. They have to let animals go that they wouldn't normally go, and it's for people who are vested in it. Like, this is the time when you buy and build a project off of an animal. Like, this is all of a sudden now somebody's selling you something that they would have held back because they can't afford to have all the holdbacks that they would normally do. And that's when you jump on it. Or this is when the prices are lowered. And even though if I don't want to lower my prices, I have to match what's going out there in the market. So if everybody's selling caramel carpet pythons for $150, I have to match this. Otherwise, I mean, I can justify going a little higher if I have some really stellar looking ones out there. But if it's a generic caramel, even if it's my caramels, if it's a generic caramel, I have to understand that, and it has to match what's out there. Otherwise, it's just going to sit here. So
I think my approach, similar to you, and why I wouldn't drop the price, but why I wouldn't do it is like, not because I understand what you're saying. It's like, if this is the market, then this is what the price is.
Right.
But if you're more particular, like you are with your caramels, and you've worked on that project for a long time, I believe that there should be a return on that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, if you're just Joe Blow breeding two caramels together, and like, I mean, I saw it just flipping through Morph Market. Some of the caramels they have on there are ugly. Yeah. I got normal coastals that look prettier than those things.
But you got to understand, I get the clutch.
But they just want the gene. Right. You know,
But you get the clutch of 30, and it's like, you're right. Even out of my shit that I'm picky, I'm going to get one or two of those fugly ones. Like, I know that. So, yeah.
They can be 150.
The fugly one's going to get priced the same way as all the other fugly ones over there. Like, it's...
Right.
But my super caramels, which I moved my super caramel jag female out of a drawer and into a cage. And her cage is one of the old Ruffy cages, so it has a fake rock ledge.
Okay.
And I get to see her like sprawled on that ledge now, and I'm like, I'm so happy. Oh, you look so good. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I kept you. And then she jags off of it, and I'm like, oh, right, yeah, there's that. So
I moved I had Eric Hernandez's girl.
Yes, the tiger.
Russian tiger girl.
Yeah.
In quarantine. She just came out of quarantine when I got back, and she's now up in this cage. Mm-hmm. Right. And there's like a branch there, and there's like, it's intersected like this, and it's like these big, huge like branches. Dude, I can't tell you how excited I was when I walked in, and it's like right at my eye level. And like, there's this, like, I'm used to the ones upstairs that are like smaller carpets in those type of cages, but it's a big carpet in this cage. And I'm like, and it's a beautiful one too. And I'm like, oh, dude, what have I been doing for so long? This is just so fucking dumb to keep them in a drawer. I can't see anything that they're doing.
Right.
I'm not here to debate whether or not they should or shouldn't. I'm just saying, for me, I want it in.
Yeah. I redid. When I redid my room, I actually got these floodlights for like construction sites, and I just like tacked them all up all the ceiling and shit, so that it's, first off, it's now brighter in my room, and I can fucking see the animal coming out of the corner, like with teeth. So there's that. But it's like I get to see everybody now, and it's all impressive. And there you are. God, you're beautiful. Like it's yeah. She's basking in UV and shit, and I'm like, just tuck the male in there.
Maybe it is. Like maybe they do. No.
Can they live without it? Yeah.
So I got those like white hook and eye things, and I took one of these big branches. Christian Parr brought me a bunch of them when he was cutting down trees or whatever. So I had these things forever, and I'd never had nothing to do with it. So I hooked it up, so that's hanging. And there's another one that kind of goes like this that you see. You can kind of see in the corner there. But that's right under the UV. And sure enough, man, most of the time that's where she's hanging.
So weird. It's almost like they enjoy
They bask in the sun. I don't know.
Wow.
You know? Corn snake's doing good.
Nice.
Going along well.
Corn snake's happy. Yes, it is. Yeah.
I find myself watching that one as well. That one's out in the other room. Set up.
I have I have a. So I've been working on stuff, and this is where I think I'm spread far too thin. Is
right.
I have a couple animals that weren't feeding, and it's not the usual suspects. So, like, all my rhinos are feeding, and I have one that's eating fish. Everybody else is on fish-scented pinks. All my mad hogs are eating, even though some of them are eating, like, frog-scented pinks or hunks of frog. They're all eating. I have one holdout rough scale python that I hate more than life itself. But the rest are carpets. I have 2 holdout carpet pythons, like coastals. One is my caramel axanthic jaguar, which I think is just he's got too much genes. And then the rest are bredli. I have like 3 or 4 bredli. Yeah.
Really? Can't get them to go, huh?
That's the problem. Is it that I can't get them to go, or is it because they're carpet pythons? I'm like, eat this because you're a carpet python. You should eat this. I'm not pulling out all the stops. I'm not loading the gun I would for.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm stretched too thin that way because I'm not sitting down and being like, all right, we're going to do this. It's like I offer it, and then was it the 2 coastals I'm force feeding now because it was just taking too long. But it's like, all right, with the bredli, like I've offered you live, I've offered you this, I've offered you that, and you still won't take. And then it's just I just kind of restart the cycle over. And it's like, well, should I go a little bit further? Like all my olive pythons are eating, but half of them are eating quail.
Interesting. So the you talk about quail. I was just going to say Terry Burwell was on CCR and he was talking about rear fang arboreal snakes, right? But he did touch on diamond pythons because he has diamond pythons. Yeah. Because they were talking about food and like what you feed and whatnot. And he said that the diamonds took button quail right away.
Dude, like crack
right away
to these things.
Really? To the roughies?
I showed all the roughies. I showed the roughies frozen thawed fuzzies, hot as hell. Didn't want them. I put live in there before I left to go to Scotland. Didn't want them. I came back here. I showed them all either fuzzies with chick down all over them. I got one to eat from that. And every of the other ones, they would kind of like turn away. And then I would be like, fine, pull the fuzzy, button quail. And it would be like, turn their head back. Like they were like looking away. Like, no, I don't want it. And then the second the button quail, they're like, what? Like it would just pivot. And the olives do the same thing, but they get the bigger quail, like fresh out, like the was it the cornix or whatever? That's a baby quail of them.
Yep.
Button quail is like this big.
Right.
Like it's so
They're
like
tiny.
size of a hopper, size of a fuzzy. And I got 2 carpet pythons eating button quail that weren't feeding. And then they made the transition over to rodents.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, shit.
Where do you get button quail?
Jason Hood.
Okay.
Jason Hood breeds button quail. I keep yelling at Foley, and I'm like, dude, you need to move heaven and earth and just start doing quail.
Yeah.
Like, just do. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna start getting the quail. I'm like, no, not the normal fucking quail. Like, that's good. Do that. I would like that. But you need to get like button quail. Like, you need to get that going.
Yes.
Because
I didn't realize they were they were different species of quail.
Yes.
I didn't realize
Yes.
that.
And it's like
I heard them talking about it.
Well, and then we were talking, and he's like, well, there's somebody who they'll incubate the eggs to a certain point, and then they'll take the eggs and crack them open, and they'll pull out the baby quail that's inside. Now it's the size of a freaking, like, pinky.
Oh, jeez.
And it's like, that's the shit I always thought we should be doing, because now I have this thing that's like, no, I don't want to eat. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to eat? Because here's this. Yes. And then it's like, oh, wait, what the hell? It's like, yes.
Hey,
there.
Wait a minute.
That's it. Like, that's what I thought. Like, I'd be pulling my hair out with these things at this point. And now it's like, I'll just give you what you want. Here it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think Rob sort of turned me on to that idea. Like, on our many trips, we've had this discussion to where it's like, I know people are against giving, if it's a wild lizard or something like that, but then it's like, well, then your snake's going to die.
Right,
so
right, exactly.
It's better to get going or,
Dude,
I know he's struggled with the freaking
the ones
that
with the sleeping lizard. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute.
That every time I think that I'm doing well, I'm reminded of that Rob has to somehow fake a lizard being asleep, and I'm like, no, that's too far. I cannot do that.
Right.
I have to go to the I have to go to that market down by Oaks next time there's an Oaks show, and load up on frog legs, chicken necks, chicken hearts, all the shit that I feed to my things here. Fish.
Right.
I need more fish. So.
Yeah, with the rough green snakes, right? Back to that one real quick. I always wonder why they are not more popular in the hobby, because they eat insects. So you would think like
there's certain regulations about rough and smooth, I thought.
Oh, maybe
I know that much. I had
maybe
a rough,
in PA.
My first snake was a rough scale green. Yeah, I killed it. I killed it horribly. Yeah, I sucked at it.
Yeah, their scales are like a real fine sandpaper almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I killed that thing dead because I just kept putting crickets in its cage, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I think it has to have humidity. I think UV is kind of important.
I kept
from what
it on
I've heard.
Sand. Yeah, I was dumb.
Sand.
We cannot fault young Owen for the stupidity that he has done. We'd be here forever.
This is true. I understand.
So
sand.
Yeah.
Was it like the sand that was colored? Is that what you were trying to go for?
It may or may not have been, and it may have been that bone calci sand you get at like Petco.
Oh yeah, I did that too.
We learned, yeah.
Yeah, well, there wasn't podcast and YouTube and
that was the first snake because I was somewhat intimidated. The second one was the Cali King.
Yeah,
I mean, you could, he was fine. He's like, whatever, dude. Yeah.
We were speaking of diamond pythons. I guess the last thing that I had to hit on was there was a video that was put up of a breeding ball of diamond pythons on the beach. And Jesse's Wildlife is the one that put it up, but apparently I guess they gave away the spot or whatever, and there was some people, they disappeared. There was I think he said there was like 7 diamond pythons shoved in this in this space.
Tree stump. Nice.
Yeah, it was like they were in like a rock crevice along the beach. And it kind of reminded me of when we were in Queensland in this last trip, where we were, you would have this habitat right before the beach. I forget, where was that? St. Ave? Was that? I forget exactly where that spot was, but like there was a couple places where, there was monitors that were in these areas, and, it's just like cool habitat. And then there's a beach, and I don't know, I just didn't think of like python beach.
And a beach, yeah. It's something you don't ever expect to see it there. And sometimes when animals kind of appear places you don't expect them, it's weird. But
but a breeding ball of diamonds, and there was the one diamond had like 2 huge ticks on it.
Oh God.
But they were gorgeous, and like I'm like, wow, I wanted to see. There was something that like I guess had been reported that happens quite a bit, and he actually got to video it and take a couple pictures of it and stuff. But
cool,
definitely cool, for sure. Yeah. So I don't know. Anything else that you?
Not really. I mean, I can't really think of anything too crazy. And
calendar.
Yeah, well, we're getting to that. So the calendar does stop on the 22nd. So you have, by the time this show airs, it's going to be done, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that will shut down, and we will start getting all that geared up and going. I've checked it out a couple times. There's some really good pictures up there, and of course there are always the ones where it's like, oh, that's a tank. That one is up against a fence. That one's in Lucas's, like, he was holding the Woma or something, and it was like I could see everything in the background. Some dude actually like posed in one of his pictures with the Bolins. Like,
oh, really?
There's this guy, and then there's the Bolins, and I'm like, I don't. Can we crop it? Like, I'm not gonna. I don't know if we want to do that. So. Right. But there's a bunch of pictures, obviously. Thank you, everybody who contributed and who entered. We'll get those. I'll probably start that on Sunday, getting all that geared up so that I can send you out all that list of everything and try to start chopping it down, because obviously there's like that first round of pictures that you're like, and these all go because either they violate the rules or they're not good quality for a calendar, and then I'll start kind of whittling it down, and we'll see how far we can get. Because usually there's one category that like a ton of people have entered and has a ton of pictures, and I'll try to get that as low as I can get it. And then if that's the number, if it's like there's like 18 or 12 or whatever pictures there, then I will let all the other categories have that many entries. Obviously, some categories never even get close to that number.
Yeah.
But
poor Darwins.
Darwins, inlands, it's stuff like that. But I'll see how that goes. It's usually always green tree pythons, like always. So
right.
Yep.
Okay, so then I would project that you're listening to this probably the beginning of November. We'll have those live. So I'm thinking we should do it on Carpets and Coffee next Friday.
Okay.
Announce the winners.
Okay, we can try that.
Or this Friday when you're listening to this.
Yes.
The next
we'll see
where
coffee.
we are with that. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we're back on track as far as shows go. We got Derek Roddy coming up.
Yep.
I've been doing my work or whatever, been rejuvenated to get things going again. Ish is coming on. We're going to talk about red coastal projects.
Okay. So
that should be fun. Who else do we have lined up? I also have I don't know if you ever heard of Copperhead Customs.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know if I sent this to you. Anyway, he's a guy in Australia. His name is Damien McKay, and he sort of does like these naturalistic enclosures and stuff. Amazing shit. Like his stuff is just, oh my God, like crazy insane. So I thought it would be cool to pick his brain, especially since I'm going to be partaking in that. But I figured it would be good for people that maybe want to keep, like make a huge enclosure for a carpet python.
I think that's just fun as hell, is making a huge enclosure for any kind of snake, just kind of like a massive terrarium kind of zoo thing. I mean, why not? And it does kind of,
if you can, sure.
It's a whole nother level now. Like, Where I will probably stop you is when you're like, so I got skinks that live in Australia, and I'm going to release them in the cage so that they can cohabitate with you. I'm like, all right, now you're going a little too far there, buddy. So
that's too far, man. Yeah, too far. No,
this is my umbrella cockatoo.
So we got
put it in the cage. What?
He ate the snake. I can't figure out what happened.
No,
yeah. Trying to think of who else we got lined up. There was a couple other people. Anyway, pretty much some good things happening as far as that goes. And yeah, we'll ride us out to the holiday show, which is not that far away.
No, my, when you like, what was I thought I saw something where it's like it's only 60 or something days till Christmas, and I'm like, why would you say that?
Yeah, let me look real quick. That's 2024. Here we go. Fourth quarter. Another one. I have it lined up, but I don't have a specific date. But we're going to have a Pygmy Python roundtable with Don Patterson and Justin Julander. So that will be cool.
He left us to go play in the Flinders range, so we had to wait for him to get back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And then we have the breeding episode. And
do we really have to do that again this year?
Yeah, it pretty much puts us.
But you're doing diamonds and I'm doing nothing. Like it's like.
Well, maybe we'll approach it like that. Maybe I'll talk about breeding diamond pythons and what.
And I'll talk about not doing anything. All right, I can figure it out. Yeah,
you could talk about roughies. How you bred roughies?
No, I don't want people to know that. All right. Yeah.
Okay, well then.
I hate to break it to you, it's going to be that I put the boy in the girl's cage.
The girl.
That is what happened. Yeah.
Here they are.
There they are. Look at this. Yeah.
I know. Oh boy, here we go. Ruffy.
No, that's not your boy. No, that one. You can't have that one. So,
you can tell differences between them? That's pretty cool.
Sir, I don't even know why you say that. Well, yours is because it's eating no chick fuzz, no nothing, straight up just fuzzy. Here he is.
Oh, wow.
Here he is. You can tell. Look, that. there's the meal.
Yeah.
there's a hopper or fuzzy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
That's the boy. I gotta get you a girl. One of them's gonna have to figure out. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I thought maybe we could squeeze a book review in there before the end of the year. We'll
probably.
See.
Yeah. I mean, all depends
too many
on
snakes.
What happens. Too many snakes, too many time. Too much time.
I figure that would equate to you quite well at the current time.
This book doesn't help me at all. I
thought it was going to help me.
What the hell? It didn't. This book had no answers.
It just called me an idiot for doing what I did.
You moron. All right, well.
Yeah. And Carpets and Coffee will be back probably next Friday. And then back to normal
until the end of the year. And then we'll be back with... I got some notification.
Season 13.
I'm going to say, I got some notification on Facebook. It's like, you've been friends with Eric Burke for 12 years. I'm like, dear God.
How did this happen?
Yeah. Don't tell people that. It's just.
How dare you, Facebook?
And I love it because the picture that popped up was the picture of you holding Matt's Borneo that had gotten loose on the way back from Chicago. So it's the I'm so disappointed in you face.
Oh, nice. That's great. So wait, last thing I'm going to say, right? So my beard started to grow in when I was herping. Right? It's fucking white.
Oh, no.
My beard is white. It's like white and gray. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I went to brush my teeth and I'm like, whoa!
When did my father get here?
Who are you? Yeah, I forgot about that. Nipper's like, he's like, mate, you look a little rough, mate. was like, yeah, I better shave real quick, because usually I don't shave.
Yeah,
on a
there's
herp
no
trip.
point. Like, why? Yeah.
Oh man, it came in. I was like, oh shit!
Oh,
I really
shit.
am the old guy on this trip. I gotta shave this
I
immediately.
had to do this before the young people see.
Yeah, Rob
Wow.
got the Eric Burke special haircut, so he looked like he was 12.
Yeah, yeah.
so-
No, well, I mean, did he go to the same place as you? Because I still have
Well,
questions.
he didn't get that
okay.
haircut.
Whoa, now that
He did ask for the.
You didn't get to
Can I
say
get
the
the
right. You have
EB
to say the right words. To say the password.
Is it called a shelf?
Yeah.
It's called a shelf. Yeah. So I guess I'll tell this real quick and then we'll end, right? So here it is, so everybody knows. I went to the hairdresser, and when I'm sitting in the chair, she's talking to me about like what I was doing, and it was like right at Carpet Fest time, and I was like, I really don't want to tell her that I'm going to look for snakes, so I'm just like, oh yeah, I photograph wildlife. Bad call, because now that intrigues people to want to talk more. Whereas if I would have said I'm going to photograph snakes, would have shut it down real quick.
Yeah.
When I'm getting my haircut, I just want to get my haircut.
Yeah, I don't
want to have a
conversation.
conversation.
My life story. Yeah.
I don't want to know about like maybe I'm going to the wrong places. Anyway, she's like, "Can you put your legs together?" And I'm like, "Well, that's a very strange request while I'm getting my haircut. Like, what does that even mean?" So I do it. Like a monkey, just okay. So I put my legs together, and then she sits on my lap, cutting in front of my hair. How awkward is this?
Make sure everything's even.
So this has become the EB haircut, and then the funny thing is, it's like I'm sitting in this. It's like a salon. It's around the corner from me, but there's mirrors, and they have like two places, but there's the space between the mirrors, and there's this older lady looking at me with such disdain, like somehow I'm at a strip club. She's like, "How dare you, sir?" I'm like, "I didn't do anything.
Just give me for a haircut. I didn't ask for this." But I love it because the way you told it at Carpet Fest is you sit down and you ask, like it was like me, I think it was Nick, Ryan, Chris, and Rob. You're like, is this normal? And we're all like, no. Yeah. We're like,
I'm
no,
like, guys,
that's never happened.
So either she was really into me, I don't know, maybe she knew I was the podfather or something. I have no idea what was going on.
Wait a minute, you shouldn't be me. Like it's like I feel for you because I would.
Am I being punked?
Yeah, I would just immediately assume that something somewhere, someone's setting me up, or Like, yes. I don't. Yeah, no.
Dory's testing me or something. Something is going on here.
My wife sent you. Well, you tell her that I'm on to her.
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh. Anyway, yeah, that's the haircut story.
Great.
So on that note, we will head on out. Let's see. Our cold-blooded caffeine referral link. I got to tell you, I made the Carpets and Coffee in Texas, in Florida. The boys liked it quite well, especially with my new contraption.
My travel French fries.
Oh, it's delicious. Dude, there was nothing better than waking up in the morning and having real legit coffee. While we were driving in the car. None of the gas station fucking Circle K bullshit stuff. It tastes like tar.
I just want to know how many. I just want to know how many times you kept bringing it up because it'd be like, it's great, boys. This wonderful. I'd steal it from you after like the fifth time.
I think they were like, shut fuck up, man.
Shut up.
We know coffee.
Stop
Nipper always
filming
says to me,
goddamn French press commercial every 5 seconds.
Yes. Have you been herping and you really wanted a good cup of coffee but couldn't get it?
Oh, my God.
Don't worry. I have your solution.
Oh, this is why we should do endorsements.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, the referral link, all their coffee's great. I just prefer so far my favorite is the Carpets and Coffee one.
Yes.
So you can go over there. Yep, you'll get 10% off with your order with NPR. I think if you go over, no. Yeah, is that cold? I can't remember. Cold Blooded Caffeine Cafe. I can't remember.
Cold Blooded Cafe is 10% code.
Yeah, this is just a referral link. So if you go and get it,
link.
I think if you order above $20, which I always do, you get free shipping.
Cool.
You get free shipping. So, and we get a little commission back. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our website is MoreliaPythonRadio.net. You can email us at info@MoreliaPythonRadio.com. The swag stores, the Teespring, all the links. And also we have the Patreon if you want to do that. All those links are in the show notes.
Also, like you touched on it a little bit, but it was the Cold Blooded Cafe. Go in at checkout, do MPR10 to get 10% off of your order. If they are running a sale, you can use MPR10 on top of what they already have. So if they have small rats at like a discount of 20%, you can add MPR 10 to get a 30% discount. So keep that in mind and keep track of them. If you kind of follow them on Facebook, they have their stuff listed. Great feeders. I received an order before I left for Scotland. Awesome packed, great sizes, and my snakes ate them all. So that's all you really need from that. And that's, I think, about it. I don't think I have anything else. Hopefully I saw a bunch of you at Hamburg, and I'm much lighter in the snake department. So there you go.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll catch everybody back here next week for some more Morelia Python Radio.